Hello and welcome to Crossing Bridges. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today is Honorable Mayor Bill Bogaard, City of Pasadena. I've had the pleasure and honor of having Mayor Bogaard appear on my TV show for the past 16 years at the conclusion of State of the City address. Sadly to say, this is going to be his last appearance on my show as mayor of our city, since he's not going to be running for re-election, to the sadness of almost everyone in our city. And I know that I speak on behalf of everyone to extend to Mayor Bogaard our sincerest gratitude and appreciation for what he has done for our city. He has been a blessing from God to our city, and during his illustrious 16 years, he has done so much to empower this city to become a well-known and recognized name, not only in the United States, but throughout the world. He has brought high-tech companies, investment companies, financial institutions, hotels, and so many other individuals and companies who have made a great impact in improving our city's economic standards as well as income standards. Today you have an opportunity to hear more about the state of the city from Mayor Bogaard. And again, I'm really truly saddened because I think very highly of Mayor Bogaard, not only as a dear friend, but I respect him as our mayor. And in my opinion, I have said that for 16 years, he is the best mayor this city has ever had, and we are going to miss him tremendously. But at the same time, we are going to wish him all the best in the world with good health, happiness, longevity with his family, and during his journey of life. At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome Mayor Bogaard to the show. Bill, good afternoon. Come to the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Nat. You've always been so wonderfully gracious and supportive of my work as mayor. I'm deeply grateful to you.
It's well deserved, sir. I do not have enough time to expand truly the achievements that you have done for our city and the person you are, because I've said that many times. Anytime anyone come across you, they are highly motivated, uplifted, because you are truly also a blessing, but more importantly, a wonderful human being. So it's an honor for me to have known you. And you're always invited to come here at any time you want to, Mayor.
Thank you very much. I greatly admire you, Nat, for your community service. You're just busy all week long contributing to the well-being of young people and in other ways. So I look forward to staying in touch with you.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Let us start with the state of the city. You expanded so eloquently just a few weeks back. I want to start by saying that for the third year in a row, we had balanced budget again, and during the 16 years that I've had the pleasure of having you on the show, I believe there has been only one time or two that we did not balance. So could you expand on that?
We have had good economic times since the turn of the century, since the year 2000. During the recession, we had balanced budgets. That is, we had all the money we needed to pay our bills, but to some extent that was achieved through the use of reserves to smooth out the negative impact of the recession. And now for 3 years we've had what we might call a truly balanced budget, not counting on reserves, but rather money that has actually come in during the fiscal year, during the year in question, to pay the expenses that came in during that same year.
Since the recession, the housing market has gone up gradually, and I believe last year Pasadena increased by about 5 or 5% over the year before.
Well, that's true. The assessed valuation, which is a pretty good measure of what goes on in terms of housing values in California, increased over 5%, and that is a reflection, I think, because it's higher than most other cities, that Pasadena is a very popular place. Values are stable, and people continue to want to come to Pasadena.
But there's still demand for housing, buildings, and if you look around Pasadena, everywhere you look, at each corner, there's construction going up, high-rises almost, to my point of view, office buildings. But what are the things that are taking place, if you'd be so kind, in that respect to office buildings, industries, and so forth?
Well, there is quite a bit of development activity taking place after a quiet period of 2009, 2010, 2011. The biggest project that comes to mind is the property that surrounds the headquarters of the Parsons Corporation over on the north side of Old Pasadena. That property was sold by Parsons to a developer, Lincoln Properties. Happily, because we value Parsons' role in this community, Parsons leased back the headquarters building, and they are committed to maintaining the headquarters of that major company in Pasadena for a long time. But around it, what is now surface parking area will be developed into some 850,000 square feet of commercial office building, of some residential units, and some retail establishments, restaurants, and stores. But the bulk of it will be commercial office, and it will be a concentration right next to the freeway and on the north side of Old Pasadena. It's going to be a good complement for downtown because there will be activity there and customers for their retail restaurants, retail stores and restaurants. So that's one major project. Another project that is now coming into focus is underway on Colorado Boulevard in the Playhouse District.
Right.
This is so-called Playhouse Plaza, and that project is about 85% complete. It's a pretty handsome building. I like it, and it's always difficult to immediately like new construction because it isn't quite the same as what you're used to, but this building is coming in with a very interesting design, and I think it will be very well received.
Yeah, I have seen it. You're absolutely right, Mayor Bogaard. It's really very nicely designed and fits very eloquently with the surrounding. I think, as you mentioned now, the Parsons location having a mix of not only office buildings, residential, and other activities that takes place is one way of drawing leaseholders or rentals, because nowadays people are looking for many things in the same location.
That's absolutely right. One of the principles of the Pasadena General Plan is that we will build a city where it is possible to get around without an automobile. That's a goal. It's not a 100% commitment. Obviously, autos are with us and will be for a long time, but to the extent that one can enjoy life, one can do the things that life involves, like going to work, going to a movie, to a restaurant, to shopping, and do that on one's feet or by walking or by public transportation. It simply makes for a more manageable lifestyle.
Yeah. It's actually really very feasible because this concept started a number of years ago, and I know you were one of the first ones to initiate in the city, because with the air pollution, high cost of gasoline, and also activity, it's so imperative for our people to be able to walk more than rather to drive half a block to go to a restaurant or go to a market.
That's exactly
and this
right.
is also beneficial in every aspect of the way.
If people come to visit the city, they should park once and then do all of their business from that vantage point.
Excellent.
And the city is developing in a way that allows that to happen more and more.
Yes, sir. Unemployment also in Pasadena has improved tremendously versus California rate. I know California was about, right now it's under 9, but Pasadena is about 6%, is that correct?
That's what I recall, and it does reflect a strong economy. It's nice to have those job opportunities. There's still a lot of people who are underemployed, and there's still a lot of people who have low wages, too low to have anything like a comfortable life. So that's a challenge for the city, and it's a subject that's being talked about, the minimum wage proposal that is being talked about in Los Angeles, in Pasadena, and in other California communities.
In the medical field, Huntington Hospital has been really expanding on an ongoing basis, and there are other areas of Pasadena, things are moving. I believe it's the Shriners groups that are coming in right now, expanding in certain areas. Could you expand on that, please?
Well, this is a very interesting development. Shriners hospitals are known around the nation for the highly specialized work that they do on young people and children. This is a facility that is going up on South Fair Oaks. The number of rooms is about 120. The patients will not necessarily be only from Pasadena. In fact, the vast majority of them will be from outside of the city. And the reason for that is that the kinds of problems that the Shriners Hospital addresses are very technical, very unusual problems. So patients and their families travel from around the world to be treated at a Shriners Hospital. So that has been granted an entitlement, and hospitals take a long time to construct. So I would say my best estimate is 2 years from now there'll be a Shriners Hospital operating and adding to the strength of the medical services that are provided in the city.
This is actually a high-tech pediatric. Is that correct to some
Yes.
extent? Very high level.
That's true.
Which is wonderful, really, because our city deserves that, and I'm really glad that you have been, I'm sure, instrumental in luring them here.
Well, I certainly was happy to welcome them, I'll say that.
You're modest, Bill, believe me, because of you, all these high-techs, all these companies are coming in because you have set the stage already in Pasadena. They know what beneficial is going to be for them, and they know it works and stays. And that's the essence of any company that wants to move into a location. They do feasibility study, and they want to see what's the impact it has on them profitability-wise, also what they can do for the community. So you have to give some credit, sir, so please don't be so modest.
Well, thank you very much. If this is a community that investors and companies view as a good place to do business, as a place to have confidence in for the short term and the long term, then that's a very strong trait for Pasadena.
You have been very actively involved in arts and music. Arts Center is also expanding locally, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. They have a master plan for their so-called South Campus, or the campus on South Raymond Avenue. They have the building that has been occupied now for 8 or 10 years, the wind tunnel building on South Fair Oaks. They've bought the post office property that is located on South Raymond Avenue, just north of the existing building, and they've converted the use of the post office building that was there to art center purposes. They've also acquired across the railroad tracks, across the Blue Line tracks, a building at 1111 South Arroyo Parkway.
Yes, sir.
And that will be their principal administrative headquarters. And what they intend to do is to integrate the postal property with the wind tunnel property with the 1111 building in an L-shaped campus that will be a very substantial presence on South Raymond Avenue.
Well, Art Center is truly a very prestigious art center, not only in Pasadena, but throughout the world. It's well known. And the demand that they place on students is unbelievable.
That's true.
Because I have 2 relatives who are going there, and sometimes I don't see them for weeks.
Yes.
Working on projects, getting ready, and they challenge them to the level that they are already professionals, which is really wonderful achievement for any school to instill into the students.
I don't have statistics at my disposal, but I know that many of those Art Center graduates go off immediately to very good jobs and have very interesting careers.
Very true, sir, very true. Talking about railroads, let's talk about Gold Line.
Okay.
I know you have had a big say-so in that effectiveness of Gold Line, and now it's expanding further to Azusa and beyond that, if you'd be so kind.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It was in 2003 that the original section of the Gold Line from Union Station to East Pasadena began operation. And that's been a very significant factor in the way in which the city has developed. A lot of residential investment, a lot of retail and commercial investment along the corridor of the Gold Line here in Pasadena. As of a year from now, about a year from now, another 12 miles of Gold Line service will be available from East Pasadena to Glendora.
Wonderful.
And the construction of the system is 90% complete as we speak. It will be turned over to the Metro Agency. The authority that built the facility is the Gold Line Foothill Extension Construction Authority, but they turn it over to Metro for operations. And so Metro will spend the last few months of this year testing the system, and then early next year put it into operation.
The expansion of line from Pasadena, I believe, goes all the way to Ontario?
Well, it does. Technically, the project as originally contemplated, and it hasn't formally been changed, goes to Montclair.
Montclair.
But another 6 or 7 miles beyond Montclair is the Ontario Airport, and the logic of extending that system from Montclair to Ontario is so strong that you know, those of us who support the Gold Line are confident it will happen. We're waiting for funding, and we're waiting for clearance by San Bernardino County.
Yes, sir.
But it will, there's no doubt in my mind that Ontario will be part of this network of transit services that are available and will serve the Southern California into the 21st century.
Absolutely. It also helps Ontario Airport as well as our residents here, because of driving all the way to LAX, you can take the Gold Line and go directly to the airport in Ontario.
True. That's true.
And one more thing, Mayor Bogaard, is been within the budget structure, am I right? The Gold Line, that expansion from Pasadena, has been maintained within its budget.
Well, that's true. You can expect some bragging later this year from the construction authority that the phase 2A of the system from East Pasadena to Glendora was on time and on budget.
Wonderful, that's great. Talking about YWCA, it's a historical, I believe, is that?
Yes, it is. It's on the National Register.
Right. So what is taking place with that place right now?
The city has been in negotiations for a long time, a couple of years, with Kimpton Hotels, which intends to convert the building from its current condition, which is, you know, it was last used as a gym facility and as a headquarters for the YWCA. They'll convert it to a small hotel, about 190 rooms. There will be terraces and outdoor dining, both at an interior court behind the hotel, I guess you'd say, and then on the Holly Street side, opposite the YMCA.
Right.
So that hotel, when they're serving guests and the people are coming and going, will liven up the plaza in front of City Hall in a very dramatic way.
Wonderful. Talking about hotels, I know you have plans for a number of major hotels and gourmet restaurants to move into Pasadena. Can you expand briefly on those, please?
There is currently a very strong interest in hotel facilities in Pasadena. One is completed, or I should say it's in operation.
Yes, sir.
And that's the Constance Hotel on Colorado Boulevard and Mentor.
Right, right.
They still have under construction another 40 rooms in the middle of the block that will be made a part of the Constance. So there's the historic structure, and then there's the new construction that will be part of it. So that's a significant hotel. We have a hotel going in on North Fair Oaks, across the street from the Parsons headquarters. It's Fair Oaks and Walnut. That's an extended stay Marriott hotel. At the Sheraton, which is an existing hotel, there's a new ownership and new management, and they're making a strong commitment to carve out a a very significant role in the hospitality industry of the city. And then there are other hotels that are under consideration. There's one at the eastern end of Plaza Pasadena at Los Robles.
Yes, sir.
Plaza Pasadena, there's a Starbucks there now that is being relocated within the plaza.
I see.
Because that eastern end of the project will be demolished and replaced by housing, a couple of restaurants, and a hotel.
The occupancy rates has really been maintained effectively over the years. And
Once
demand
again,
is really for more hotels and more rooms.
Pasadena has a strength when it comes to hotel occupancy, because while tourism is important, tourism can fluctuate depending on the economic times and so on. But the mainstay for Pasadena hotels is business travel. Organizations like Caltech,
Yes, sir.
Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the Huntington Hospital, they're huge economic operations, and they have people coming all the time for special visits or for lectures or for learning and so on. And that kind of heavy business trade keeps the hotels at a good occupancy rate.
Good economic growth and good income for our city.
That's true.
Talking about Rose Bowl, I believe we just celebrated the 125th year of Rose Bowl.
Right.
Rose Parade.
Yes.
Can you expand a little bit on that, please?
Well, on January 1 of this year, the 126th Rose Parade occurred. It was a year ago then that the 125th mark was made as far as the parade is concerned.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, the Rose Bowl game was celebrating its centennial. And of course, Pasadena has made a significant investment in the Rose Bowl, which has been well received by people who put on soccer games. Of course, the football is well established, and for events like concerts and so on. And I would say we're working our way through as to what the right number of events is and the kind of events. On a recent weekend, there was a program called Air Plus Space, and that was put on by an Olympic gold medalist in skiing.
Right, right.
And while I wasn't able to attend the event, I'm told it was extremely well received.
Of course, BC National Championship game took place here, and UCLA is involved here. And it's really wonderful what you have done to bring these, I call it marvelous activities, because we can just, as you indicated, just drive or walk down the street and go see the National Championship game.
That's true. Pasadena has a rich variety of athletic and cultural events that are truly of interest, not only to the people of Pasadena, but to people in the entire region and beyond.
What are plans basically for expansion of anything further with Rose Bowl beside what you discussed? We already really have a full house with concerts, football, games, activities, or anything else on a major level?
A distinction should be drawn as far as Rose Bowl activity is concerned between those events which are recurring, like UCLA football,
Yes, sir.
the Rose Bowl game, the 4th of July celebration, and those events which are non-recurring or one of a kind. Concerts in general are one of a kind. But what we want to do is establish another major tenant at the Rose Bowl. Rose Bowl with the Tournament of Roses, the UCLA, and then a music festival.
Wonderful.
And those discussions are underway. We don't expect the music festival to begin in the year 2015, but we do hope that there will be a music festival scheduled for 2016. It will be a 2 or 3 day event. It will be an annual event and probably a commitment of 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
And those events can be conducted in a very appropriate way for a family audience. We intend Pasadena's music festival to be family friendly.
Oriented.
And those events are successful from a financial point of view.
Excellent. In the next few minutes that we have left, Mayor Bogaard, if you'd be so kind, can you expand briefly about education and also our police department, and under the leadership of Dr. Ryan McDonald, we are moving forth, and also under the leadership of Phil Sanchez, so if you'd be so kind.
I would say that Pasadena is pleased and proud to strengthen its working partnership with the PUSD. That partnership goes by the name of Collaborate Pasadena, and involves now a new governing board that will be a permanent part of how the city and the schools work together to set goals and to establish accountability, and then to measure what gets accomplished. We want the PUSD schools to continue to succeed and to achieve great results with all of the students. And the schools can't do it alone. The schools need the support of the community, and that's what Pasadena City Hall wants to offer, and then inspire others in the community to be part of this effort.
And about police department, if you'd be so kind, briefly.
The police department is the subject of lots of conversation all the time, because people want to be satisfied that the police department is doing everything it can to maintain public safety. I, like you, greatly admire Chief Sanchez, and I'm just so pleased that he brings a community style of policing that involves lots of interaction between officers and individuals in our community.
Very much so. He really has been implementing a lot of community relationship, because he's the first chief of police that started a website and email that goes to everyone almost in the city, keeps everyone abreast of what's going on. And on even the holidays, he has been in his office reporting instantly as far as what took place, and also reply back as to what happened. If you'd be so kind, for the next 30 seconds before we conclude, what would you like to say to the viewing audience, if you'd be so kind?
Well, I want to say that I am tremendously grateful to Pasadena for the support that has been given to me as mayor. I consider my 16 years in this position as remarkable and rewarding, and it couldn't be done without wonderfully dedicated people who want nothing more than to make Pasadena a better place and to respond to the needs. So I'm proud and pleased and grateful to have been a part of this great community.
Bill, it's been a great, great pleasure and honor, and I'm not going to say goodbye to you, because I'm going to make sure to see you, sir, and I cannot tell you how blessed I have been to know you, not only as the mayor of the city, but also as a dear friend, and it's been my honor and pleasure. And once again, I want to wish you and Claire and the family all the best of happiness and love that God can give both of you.
Thank you, Nat. You're a good friend.
Thank you. And thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Have a blessed day.